Sony earnings, doing the right thing, and honey, warm up the defibrillator. Welcome to the Unlimited Supply Podcast, your daily music business TLDR in your ear, powered by just enough self-knowledge to keep me from ever being a tour manager, and brought to you by Nodesk, helping music, technology, and finance companies navigate the music industry in partnership with Digital Music News. It's May 15th, 2025. I'm Lars Murray, and it's Touring Thursday. But before we hit the road, a few days back we talked about how Warner Music Group had actually managed negative growth in Q1, which seemed to be a bit of a puzzling achievement given the breakthrough year they had with people like Benson Boone. And if you were thinking that Warner's tepid performance might be a harbinger of similar things to come from Sony Music, you would have been wrong. Sony posted double-digit growth in just about every major sector, driven by Travis Scott, Tate McRae, and SZA, among others. In their Q1 earnings report, recorded music was up 12%, with recorded music streaming revenue up 11%. Other recorded music, which includes live merch and sync revenue, was up 23%. It's always good news when those highly profitable Tate McRaes of the world are blowing up before they start to flirt with recoupment, find their sea legs, and start to push back. Which doesn't mean that Sony isn't good at managing more established artists like Beyonce or Adele or Tyler, the Creator, all of which gives Sony Music a flywheel of success. Of course, we shouldn't forget that Sony's extra profitability came on the heels of some pretty large layoffs in 2024. So I officially declare May 15th to be National Buy a Lone Wolf a Drink Day, with current Sony employees on the hook for two. Elizabeth Dilts Marshall has the full story at Billboard. The day before yesterday, I took Soundcloud mildly to task about the little-known codicil in their terms of service that, in theory, allowed them to use their customers' music as training data for AI. It was not a good look. My suggestion the other day to SoundCloud was that it was not too late to fix this problem, and when I shared this opinion with a SoundCloud employee or two, I was told to wait and see. Sure enough, and much to his credit, SoundCloud CEO Eliah Seton responded yesterday to the kerfuffle with a definitive statement that SoundCloud would not use customer submissions for generative AI, and any AI used was purely to improve SoundCloud's platform function rather than create new music. All credit to Eliah and to SoundCloud for doing the right thing. It's rare and it's refreshing. Katie Bain had the coverage, adding the open letter from Seton at Billboard. All right, let's hit the road. In another form of doing the right thing, all at once this week, a major lifestyle change hit the ticketing sector. Hot on the heels of the Ticket Act blasting through Congress, Ticketmaster instituted all-in pricing nationwide. So now, when you go to what we affectionately call the bastard around here, you get quoted the full price rather than the list price. I tested it out yesterday. I bought some Dandy Warhol's tickets to the Bowery Ballroom, and yes, the full price was listed, and the fees were broken out on the back end rather than tacked on in that infuriating bait and switch. I'm happy to swallow it if a ticket costs $100, including fees, it's fine. But if you tell me a ticket costs $75 and then I end up paying another $25, that's actually more infuriating. So, as usual, Ticketmaster did the right thing after it had exhausted all other options, which is actually the most American thing it could have done. From America to Canada, last summer on Touring Thursday, we spent a lot of time talking about how festivals in the UK had been declining at an alarming rate. I believe the number was something close to 140 lost in a couple of years. It appears the UK has sneezed and Canada has caught a cold. The Canadian Live Music Association has reported that the festival market in Canada is doing the same, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if this started to hit the US as well, given soft Coachella sales, the contraction of South by Southwest, etc. But back to Canada, the problem, of course, is the increased expense in the last few years of putting on a festival and the increased hesitance of festival customers to rush to buy tickets. U.S. festivals are not going to be immune, as we'll see later when we discuss the Cruel World Festival in L.A. this weekend. It remains to be seen how the U.S.-Canada trade war might also affect the festival scene up there. Rosie Long-Decker and Stefano Ribulli have the story at Billboard. Of course, weakness in the festival market isn't stopping everybody. I mean, canceling a festival because of a little financial downturn, that isn't very punk rock, is it? And thus, the CBGB Fest, which happened in the early teens and then went away, has been revived by Bowery Presents. It will appropriately take place under a bridge in New York City, Greenpoint, Brooklyn to be precise, on the banks of the legendary Superfund site, Newtown Creek, on September 27th, all in one day. given that the median age of the performers is probably somewhere around 60, with headliners including Iggy Pop, Jack White, the Sex Pistols, and the Damned, well, maybe a little north of 60, although the Linda Lindas probably dragged the average down about 5 years. Anyway, given that the headliners are kind of old, it's pretty cool that the festival is targeting younger folks with a ticket discount for 350 NYC residents under 25 to go on sale Saturday at Music Hall of Williamsburg at noon. For the rest of us olds over 25, we can register for pre-sale access at CBGBFest.com. At $149 for GA, the pricing is probably closer to Richard Hell's monthly rent from the 70s than it is to a punk rock all-ages show, but hey, artists gotta get paid. The lineup is stacked, and late September is the best time in New York for an outdoor show. Every week we discuss the artists dominating their markets, a few artists who might be punching above their weight, and a few you might be surprised still have tickets available in the U.S. music capitals, New York, L.A., and Nashville. We call it the Who Sells Out. In NYC, the Fontaines DC are a sellout Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights at the Hammerstein. But here is the perfect plan B. Still some tickets available for the Dandy Warhol's 4-night stand in NYC at the Bowery. I got mine. And Public Hotel, though the Mercury Lounge Sunday is a sellout. Still some tickets available for old friends Peter, Bjorn, and John at Irving Plaza next Wednesday. See you there. And coming off the Dares week-long sold-out underplay at Baby's All Right, the bar staff there will not catch a breather on Monday as Orville Peck brings his underplay show there. Yep, that one is a sellout. In LA, Ryan Adams' Heartbreaker 25 World Tour is not a sellout tonight at the Orpheum. Just a hunch, Phoebe Bridgers will not be attending either. Who knew that King Tuff was from Vermont? I'm a fan and I didn't know that, but he's been living in LA and he's decided to pack up and move back home. Still a scant few tickets available to his Farewell LA show tonight at the Lodge Room. Remarkably, there are still some Outer Reaches tickets to see Outlaw Fest tomorrow night at the Hollywood Bowl with Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and Billy Strings. They call it Outlaw Fest, I call it Bang for the Bucket List. Sad that I'm not in town for this one. And last week in Pasadena, it was Just Like Heaven for the oldish, and this week it's Cruel World Fest for the older-ish with New Order, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, the Go-Go's, Devo, OMD, Garbage, Madness, She Wants Revenge, Alison Moyet, and Blancmange. I love saying Blancmange. GA Plus and Clubhouse tickets are a sellout, but regular plebe, GA, and VIP still have a lot of availability. In Nashville, where nothing ever sells out, old friends Low Cut Connie are at the Blue Room on Friday night. Still some tickets available to see what's, for my money, the world's greatest bar band. Get there, you tough cookies. AC/DC's Power Up Tour is a sellout at Nissan Stadium on Tuesday. Secondary market ticks start at $110, which may account for why Wiz Khalifa is not a sellout at Brooklyn Bowl the same night. I know, very different audiences, but are they really? And anyway, it's Nashville. Nothing ever sells out, except AC/DC. And English national treasure Billy Idol plays the Bridgestone with American national treasure Joan Jett, while Wiz is playing the Brooklyn Bowl. Touring is a funny business. Still plenty of tickets for that. Sounds like fun. And that's it for another Touring Thursday. While we're still in Atlanta, and you can hear it in my voice, we have one more Who Are You and Why Are You Here for the road.
Who are you and why are you here?
Hey, I'm Yael Penn, co-founder of Hit Songs Deconstructed and Chart Cypher, and we are here at Music Biz to meet people, have fun, great conversations, and launch a new product under the radar.
And thanks to Portia Sabin and crew for mounting a really excellent Music Biz conference. Thanks also to my panelists, Michael Del Donne of WMG, Rob Dekker of Kids Bop, and Ricardo Briceno of Game Fan for an excellent gaming and music panel. On Monday, I said Atlanta would take some getting used to, and it did. It's Thursday, and I'm used to it. But while it's different than Nashville, it's been no less productive. Nashville may have lower Broadway and higher-end restaurants, but it can't match the Walking Dead vibe of the Cobb Galleria Zombie Mall. And Waffle House here is walkable from my hotel. Honey, I'll be home tonight. Warm up the defibrillator. Support for Unlimited Supply is provided by Music Services, a division of CSAC Music Group. Music Services is pioneering technology, licensing, and administration solutions to meet the growing needs of record labels and music publishers worldwide. For more on Music Services, visit musicservices.com, and be sure to listen to my interviews with John Rasso and Lynn Lowe in this feed. And by Roy-Fi, which offers the lowest rates and fairest terms on advances in the industry. If you're interested in taking your career to the next level without surrendering any rights or leverage, Roy-Fi is your advance funding solution. Links are in the show notes, but you can hit me at unlimitedsupplypod.com, on LinkedIn, or at lars@nodisc.com to make suggestions, to feed us tips, to feed us lunch, to call us out on our dubious assertions, and to tell us what we're missing out on. And remember, in this business, no conflict means no interest.